your parents react to the decision of playing poker?
At first, I used to take, like, well, playing at a card room all night, going home. They see you the next day. They see you that week. They don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I played a lot of poker. I put in a lot of hours. All they thought was I was at school studying, or, I was going out with my friends. They didn't know I was playing poker. And then, to them, poker's gambling. And when I started taking trips, going to Vegas, going to LA for like 3, 4, 5 days at a time, I come home. They was like, "Where you been? Where you been? I haven't seen you in like 3, 4 days." I'll come up with an excuse.
Right.
And then finally, I hit a couple tournaments, and I won my very first tournament. I won was like a $300 buy-in to Commerce with rebuys for like 74,000. And
That's a lot.
they kind of knew I won that money, but they didn't know how. They didn't really understand it. And they told me, you know what? Take that money, go invest it, put it away. Don't play cards no more. And then when I started winning more and more and more, my results kept showing up, and they were like, "Wow, you are good." And then that's when they looked into it, and they realized it's a game of skill, not luck. And then now my parents, up till today, they're like, they call me, "Hey, how are you doing? How's it going out there? Are you playing good? Are you getting good rest?" They're
good.
concerned. They're
They
very
get it.
supportive. Yes.
So what was the Northern California poker scene like when you were growing up?
Growing up in Northern California, playing poker it's horrible. You really can't do it. You really can't do it for a living in Northern California.
Right.
I tell all my friends, hey, you want to do it for a living, you gotta leave Northern California, go to LA, go to Vegas, and you can't play 918 for the rest of your life, because it's such an action game nowadays. I mean, it's like 5 guys to the river. I mean, how can your skill really come out on top? I left. I went to LA and started playing down there. That's how I succeeded.
Right.
I mean, had I stayed there, I probably would have built up my roll to like 8,000 or 9,000, and probably blew it off again. But finally, I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to take a shot in LA, and that's when it paid off.
Right. So in 2003, you make your first big cash at the Heavenly Hold'em, where you say you got to play with David the Dragon. In the past, you've called him and Scotty Nguyen your role models. Why did these guys mean so much to you coming out?
They mean a lot because, when you first see poker on TV, you look around and you see, like, all the big names, Doyle, and you see, like, Phil Ivey, you see, like, Howard Leder and those guys, and then, hey, there's an Asian guy. That's Scotty Nguyen. Oh, cool. So Vietnamese guys on TV. And to me, it's like, if he can do it, I can do it,
Right.
And just by seeing him on TV, it's just like, I idolize him because I say, I like his personality. He's not like a jerk or nothing. He's just a nice guy. And I said, hey, you know what? I want to be like him. I mean, and that just gave me like more hope that I can make it. And David Pham's my idol because when I first came down to LA, I played that tournament, and we got down to the final table, and I'm watching David this whole time, and he's like, this guy's playing like great poker. I'm like, wow, this guy's really good. And I studied him and I watched him, and I said, wow, I want to play like this guy. And then I think we ended up chopping it 5 ways or something. And then the following week was when I came back and won the same tournament for 74,000.
Like you were saying, David Pham acts nice, Scotty Nguyen, they were really nice on TV, nice guys. As a pro, you've never been the kind of guy to make a scene in front of the cameras. You don't do that, and you don't blog, you don't have your own website. Why do you keep such a low profile?
Well, it's because I'm on the road so much, and I'm so occupied with playing poker, talking about poker with my friends, and when I'm home, I just want to be poker free. Right. And I do play a little bit online sometimes, but I haven't played online in a long time. And because when I'm home, I want to spend time with my girlfriend, I want to spend time with my family, and I just want to golf. I picked up a new hobby, fishing. I want to do relaxed things, stay out of poker.
Sounds nice. We're around it too much. You have a pretty tight-knit circle of friends. You have Amnon and even C-Mac and Nam, Grinder. How did you guys all become friends in poker?
Well, when I first traveled, I didn't really have many friends. Like, I had my brother as a friend. He came along with me. I had a couple of other friends that came along, but they were small limit players. So when I started traveling tournaments, I really didn't have like a traveling buddy with me. I had a couple buddies that tried, and they couldn't make it. They went broke, or they just gave up on it. And when I ran into, when I first met Amnon, I met him at the 2004 World Series. He just came up to me and he's like, hey, how much chips you got? And I'm like, dude, who's this guy? I got 150,000. Oh, I got 170. And I was like, I'm like, dude, who is this guy? So like from that day on, he started talking to me. So I was like, oh, dude, got to tell you the story. Yeah, they broke my table. I didn't have a seat. They sat me in the corner for 30 minutes, and then the day ended. And I'm
He's
like,
so
dude,
funny.
who is this kid? You know. So after that, you know, we became friends, and you know, when you travel and you go on to these places and you run into the same faces over and over, you know who are the good guys and who's the bad guys. So I like to surround myself with good guys like Nam and Grinder and you know like Amnon and Chris and all those guys.
Right. Do you have a good story about rooming with one of those guys?
No, not really, but
Come on, there's
see,
something
I'm
embarrassing.
like the prankster out of the group. I like to like the other night we're in a room, right? And you know I shared a room with Nam with 2 beds, and like we're getting ready to you know go to bed, turn the next day. So like I'm bored, I can't sleep, and like Nan's been driving me crazy because he stays up all night and keeps me up. So finally, I said, "All right, I'm gonna get this guy back." So like I turned off all the lights. He went to the restroom. He had brushing his teeth, whatever. So I turned off all the lights, and I threw pillows under my sheets, and act like it's me sleeping. And I jumped to his side of the bed, and I lied right next to his bed. So now Nam comes out, and he's like, I'm waiting for him to hop in bed so I can jump out and just scare him, right? So like. He walks out and he's like looking for his iPod. And he's looking around, he's like doing, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't see me. So now he comes around the corner where I'm lying and he's like digging in his bag. And I'm like, dude, this dude might see me. So now I just jumped up, I was like, ah! And then he freaked out, he jumped back. So I mean, I like to do stuff like that. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna probably buy like a camcorder when I get home. So when I do stuff like these, I want to have it
That's
on
so
tape.
mean.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.